Captain Gary Griffith, for the lay person who may not exactly know what is the zone of special operations, could you break it down in layman terms so that you can quell some fears for people that think that it's some target?
Yeah, it is in the military. There's a term, the principles of war. It is known as economy of effort. Instead of trying to spread all your resources throughout the country, you home in a specific areas and utilize your resources in an effective and efficient manner to suppress criminal elements. But it should not be, which is where the mistake has taken place with the bill. It seems to be just be based on where crime has taken, where crime is at its highest. Points to note, if you look at the number of murders, I think Central and San Fernando, there are higher numbers of murders than in the so-called hotspot areas we had 15 years ago, the Laventales, the Sealots, the Beetham, and so forth. So if it is they work based on the crime statistics, you're supposed to find Zoso more in Central, in Trainline, in Marabella, than in Port of Spain. So it remains to be seen if the Zoso will be used specifically for that. But that is how the Zoso is. It is to be able to suppress crime by putting a lot of your resources in one area to be able to put a degree of calm and to prevent crime from taking place. This is where I have an issue, because that is similar to what you call in cricket setting field for bad bowling. You bowl a ball, the man hits the ball in middle, and then you put a fielder there. He hits the ball to cover, you put a fielder there. So if it is you put all the security in specific areas like that, you have to be the dumbest criminal that will commit crime in that area. You will now divert. So the focus should not just be on putting security in specific places that based on crime statistics in the past, but utilizing this to as a preemptive strike, such as there are gang members that stay in high residential areas, gated communities. Use that to go after the gang leaders, after the big fish, after the persons in white collar crime in all these residential areas. Go after them, control that apartment, lock down the area, take the computers, get the documents, see which politician is involved in criminal activity, who's involved in money laundering, human trafficking, because it doesn't come from the small man, it comes from those big boys. That is what Zoso should do. So it is hoped that Zoso can be used along that line. Another example that is not being considered, Zoso has been put with the only persons to lead that of a major in the army. But people, we have totally forgotten about the Venezuela situation. Let me tell you, I was there in Haiti with the United Nations when tens of thousands of Haitians were trying to flee Haiti. If Venezuela turns to civil war, we can get hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans getting into Trinidad. It's going to affect our economy, health, education, housing, and above all, national security. Imagine 250,000 persons just land in Trinidad. There's nowhere to put them. We need to put a Zoso in that area to prevent persons, because once they enter, you can't get them out based on refugee status, based on asylum requests, but you stop them from getting in. That is where Zoso should be. So it should be a major / a lieutenant commander. We have not considered Coast Guard being involved in Zoso. You can use Zoso to be able to raid a rig, a vessel, and a house down the islands. You're not going to put an army major there who might be seasick. So even that area between Venezuela and Trinidad, that's where Zoso should be, having Coast Guard patrols to prevent the possibility of Venezuela, because that's what happens in a country that becomes so volatile based on civil war or whatever. People will migrate. So all of these things are required. My personal view on it, I said it as National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister when she called for a state of emergency in 2010 or 2011. I said a state of emergency should not be used as a crime fighting tool. It is a cheat. You're trying to do this because you're unable to deal with the criminals. When I was Minister of National Security, we had almost the same amount of murders as we had for the whole year last year with a state of emergency. Why? Because we put policies, systems, units, technology, equipment from the National Security Special Operation Group, the National Operations Center, dam and vessels, Community Comfort Patrol, Operational Command Center. Unfortunately, and this is not to knock the two persons who are the highest level in security at this time, the Commissioner of Police and the Homeland Security Minister, they were middle management. One was in charge of about 10 men in Special Branch. The other was on a talk show for 10 years on TV6. So they don't have the capability to expand their vision and to be involved in a practical, tactical, strategic aspect of policing, hard targeting, deterrence. They're not. So for a whole year, there's not been one new policy, equipment, technology, unit, nothing from either of them, because they're middle management. When people decide to say, well, they have experience, That's like saying a plumber had 30 years experience fixing toilets, so you should put him as the chief engineer to deal with the point of an aircraft carrier. It doesn't work that way. So they don't know. So whereas we would have put up, as I said, as commissioner, the rapid response unit, the emergency response patrol, the special operation response team that put an end to kidnapping, home invasion, human trafficking, extortion. They have not done that. So the prime minister, probably she was left with no choice. Had she not put that state of emergency, I think there would have been 600 plus murders again. So she cheated. She did what was, I will call it cheated. She was able to beat the system, call the SOE, incarcerate all of the gang leaders, the gang members, the lieutenants, the shooters, the human traffickers. You incarcerate them, 300 of them, and then after they're going to be released, and now the taxpayers will have to pay. That's what happened in 2011, but at least 300 lives were saved. If you don't have ZOSO, these persons will now get back out onto the street. So ZOSO is a backup element, as I see, that is going to allow them to do the same thing that they did in a continuation of the state of emergency.